It wasn't long ago that China was Starbucks' poster child of successful international expansion.
China was viewed as a fertile growth opportunity, just given the urbanization of the population, a growing middle class, as well as proclivity for Western brands.
We can build Starbucks stores in China as fast as we can for the rest of my life and still have addressable market to gain in China.
From 2017 to 2020, Starbucks added about 3,200 stores in China. Revenue was hit hard by pandemic lockdowns in 2020. Despite China's strict zero-COVID policies, the company rebounded with explosive sales growth the following year. But sales have since stagnated. Between 2021 and 2024, revenue is down about $700 million, all while Starbucks added an additional 2,200 stores in the country.
This is emblematic of a market that's maturing, where you do have multiple entrants. In the U.S., of course, there's multiple strong coffee competitors. China didn't, necessarily have that 10 years ago, but now you do.
So what's creating this drag in China? And can Starbucks turn things around? Despite volatility in recent years, Starbucks is a historically strong brand that helped shape modern-day coffee culture across the world.
Going out for a cappuccino or a latte was not as much of a thing in the U.S. prior to the 1990s, so Starbucks defined that. In China, they also sort of defined the culture, except coffee itself was not widely drank at all in China prior to when Starbucks entered 25 years ago.
Starbucks grew its presence in China relatively unchallenged until 2017. That's when its biggest competitor, Luckin, entered the market. By the end of 2018, its valuation had surpassed $2 billion, and the domestic competitor already had about half the number of stores that Starbucks did.
What's always been interesting about Starbucks is that it hasn't had a natural domestic rival. There are a lot of other American brands that do, but Starbucks hasn't. So all their competitors have been Costa from the UK or UCC from Japan.
But by 2020, it seemed that Luckin may not have become the threat that Starbucks initially feared. After news broke that the company fabricated over $300 million in sales, it shut down hundreds of stores and was delisted from the NASDAQ in 2020. Still, it emerged from bankruptcy in 2022 and restructured its financial position.
From 2022 to 2024, Luckin more than doubled its store count. It now has roughly 6,000 more company-operated stores than Starbucks.
It's no-bones, pared-down coffee shop that allows them to expand fast at a much lower price point. If the taste difference is not differentiating enough, this is dangerous for Starbucks. And Luckin has proved, just as Starbucks did in its first days, really good at marketing itself.
Luckin's done a really good job of putting their locations in a ton of different places, growing location numbers dramatically. A lot of these are very small